I found a guy about 6 weeks ago called Chris Bike. Chris meets Chris. Not a bad YouTube name. Hello and welcome. If you haven't met me, my name is Jack. And if you know me, welcome back on board. I'm actually a train driver, so I always say on board. So, Chris meets Chris. I found him for JD Strobus on YouTube probably about 6 weeks ago now. And Lewis I found about 6 weeks ago as well. I don't know if they follow me on YouTube or not, but that's by the by. I'm actually outside Performing Arts Centre, where they teach people to actually film things. So this is back of a university in Melbourne. So if you see any weird people walking by, that's what's going on. So Lewis said the other day on one of his videos, he wants people to try and do a 30-day challenge of making vlogs. And that got me thinking. Now, Lewis is around 35, and Chris meets Chris is around 35, and Chris meets Chris is trying to create a vlogging community. I do have a counter argument to that, and I'm not even going to Chris or anything. Chris has been on YouTube 5 years, I think, and I've been on YouTube 14 years. That's got nothing to do with it, but there is a strong community out there, but we're a bit like GeoCities, if you're old enough to remember GeoCities. We're spread out amongst our own little burbs, our own little parts of the city. I follow a whole group of vloggers. Judas Smith is probably the first one I've been following. I've been following him for 2 or 3 years now, for quite a long time. And he's based in Folkestone in England. I follow a whole heap of these vloggers that are in England. YouTube found those vloggers for me because I was following Tudor. I'm following his account. YouTube sees I'm following his account, so they recommend similar videos. So they're seeing it's England, they're seeing it's a vlogger, right, and photography, because photography is more important than vlogging, and all my photography videos are actually vlogs or POVs, or I think a POV's a vlog, you tell me, I don't know, but to me, silent vlogs, POVs, and vlogs are all basically the same thing. We're documenting something. Anyway, YouTube found me a whole heap of English vloggers. And I'm not talking about, Optical Wanderer or any of the, if you want the Americans, Peter, any of the huge 1 million subs. I'm talking about small accounts. So yeah, Peter McKinnon's a good example in North America, but I'm following, who's another one I can think of? Roman Fox, perfect one. Now, Roman Fox has got a squillion followers, and he's got a really good vlogger. He takes things personally at times, and he tells you, and I like that. If something is pissing you off, YouTube's a good spot to get it out on rather than getting it out on your family members, you know what I mean, or your workmates. And so I started following Roman maybe 4 years ago. I now have half a dozen, what would it be, 9, 10, I think 11 South African, Zimbabwean, Southern African vloggers that I'm following. Once again, I found the community because I'm following a person who's a vlogger, a photographer, and with the same interests, but comes from that region. And YouTube recommended. And this is how you build community. When YouTube is recommending, watch the video. Once you watch the video, chat to the person. Put some comments on that. And as Chris meets Chris said the other day, comments like nice video aren't building community. And I agree with 100%. It's easy to watch a video and say nice video. It does help the creator, because it gives YouTube a bit of feedback that people are commenting. But give us some feedback, I like that comment. I like that bit What was Chris today? I said to him he was walking through the market zone. I said, do you actually talk to any of the vendors and that? And he said, at Christmas time he stopped and he talked to a few. And then I talk to every barista in this city. They know me very well, and they actually know my name, and they know how to get hold of me personally. And quite literally 10 minutes before I started this, or 2 hours after I read Chris's reply on YouTube, one of the baristas who I haven't seen for about a week contacted me and asked how I was doing, make sure I was okay. And I said, yeah, I've been coming in while you've actually been off work. I've been seeing the other barista at your, he's a cafe owner, so I've been seeing your afternoon barista. And we had a quick little chat. This is a person that 2 years ago I didn't know, but because I've gone into their coffee shop, I've got my vlogging gear and I've sat down and said to them, do you mind if I start talking to myself in your coffee shop? And they have said, go for it. They've got to know me. And there's a whole series of them in Melbourne too. Vola Foods. They are from Central Africa. Don't ask me to quote you where, but it is Central Africa, right on the bay. Anyway, I ran into them a year ago. They were at Fed Square, which I can point over there. Fed Square's over there. They were at, trick timing. Yep, they were at Fed Square. And they were doing a food festival. There's always food festivals there. It's an international spot. And I just went up to them. They had a barbecue going, like an open flame barbecue. And I went and chatted to the guy who was using the barbecue. I said, well, what's this food? And it's got all these unpronounceable names in it, spicy African. And, oh yeah, you only die once, I have to try it. So I tried it and I got chatting to the owner and found out that the owner had actually been on reality TV. And I've been to 6 of their events, I think now in the last year. I've been invited to a few of them, little community group events, just to come out, bring my camera, take some photos. Most of these photos I take from, I just put up on Instagram and I promote their company, but take some photos, do some talking. That's how you build community. Oh, there you go. They must want me out of here. They just turned the water. It's also 5:30, so sun's just gone down. Right, so building community, you can do it on YouTube exactly like I said. Do a vlog, talk to somebody, introduce yourself, get them to watch your video, or at least put them on your video, and they're more than likely going to watch it if they're on it. If you watch somebody's video, comment on it. I had a few messages today from people saying, you've put 3,000, so many, I think 3,300 subscribers on your channel in the last 2 months. It's actually been the last 6 weeks. Make a video on how you did it. And I said, well, yeah, if I get time, I will. But they're quite easy. That elephant in the room's answer is quite simple. I had 5 weeks off work. I had COVID, I had the flu, and I had some annual leave. I had nothing better to do than to sit down and treat YouTube as a full-time job. And every video, and I mean every video I watched, and I watched 10 hours, 12 hours maybe a day of videos. Every video I watched, I put a comment on, and not a comment like nice video, but I actually noted something in the video and I commented on the video. My subscriber list went through the roof straight away. I'm suddenly chatting to people rather than watching videos. And I've developed countless friends just in 4 weeks through doing the community. So my encouragement to you, if you're actually trying to figure out how you're going to build your sub base, how you're going to build your community, get in the comments. Don't just talk to the creator either. Read through the comments, Tom, Dick and Harry are in there. If Tom says this, Dick says that, Harry says that. If you've got an opinion on what they're saying, and be respectful, of course, but if you've got an opinion, mention it to them. Say, yeah, I like what you said. I thought this. We're humans. Talk to people. That's the simple way. Now, Lewis is going on about, 30-day challenge, trying to get these people. At the moment, a lot of this 30-day challenge is North America and Canada. Hopefully we can get some people from outside that. And a lot of them seem to be around 35 and they're a bit nervous and all that. Don't be nervous with it. I'm going to put up a couple bits of B-roll after I finish this video. Normally I put it up now, but I'll just put it right at the end. What I've noticed, and you notice it if you look around, people walk around talking on their mobile phones. So if you're nervous, have a look at how many people are standing around you talking on their mobile phone. They're holding their ear or they got their... Probably should check my phone anyway, but, they got their phone out. They listen to it. So you can walk around with your camera in one hand and your phone in the other. People are going to assume you're on a phone call. So I'll stick up some B-roll of people that are actually standing around in public, chatting it quite loudly on their phones. Anyway, I better get back to work. I've got my meal break at the moment. So stay safe, enjoy life, have fun, And if you've been on this channel before, you know I mean it. We only live once, and too many of my friends have died in the last 5 years, so take care. Stay safe, make videos, tag me in your videos so I can find your channel, and then I'll follow you. Pretty simple. Stay safe, guys.
I've ready to Portugal platform cost for the speed behind the yellow line for your team.